when it comes to ERP, the only value of ERP again is the ability to remove the responses or the compulsions. If you do an exposure and then engage in compulsion, you're not really doing ERP. All right. Hey there, and welcome to today's episode where I'm going to talk about how to build a ERP hierarchy or an exposure hierarchy. And I want to talk about my thoughts on this because this is a question that I get a lot. So thought it would be worth to just make an episode on it. So first off, in the last episode that I just did, and we'll link it down in the notes somewhere. If you didn't watch it, definitely I really encourage going through that before you go through this because it will provide a lot of context. But a traditional ERP hierarchy basically incorporates the following, right? And then I want to talk about my viewpoints now and why I don't actually, necessarily suggest this model and how I think that there's a different way that we can look at this that's improved. But again, I'm going to share this because this is basically what most people are going to teach. And I want to kind of talk about it and then I want to elaborate and expand upon it. Okay. So, an ERP hierarchy is the idea of we want to take a fear and we want to break it up into manageable steps, right? So we take one concept, let's say the person is afraid of elevators in this instance, and we would break it up into steps. So I wouldn't just go and say, hey, we're going to go to the tallest building in town. We're going to get on the elevator. We're going to ride it up and down as many times as we can until you desensitize to it. We would break it up into manageable steps. So we'd say, hey, okay, you have a big fear of elevators because you had a panic attack on the elevator. All right, I get it. Let's start with, again, step one, looking at an elevator, just a picture. I'm just going to pull up a picture online. Let's just look at an elevator and see how we do. Maybe we even write out the thoughts on a piece of paper that are associated with what's going on in the person's mind with elevators. Maybe we write those thoughts on paper first and we even loop them. Then we may even go to, hey, look, let's go to a 2-story building that has an elevator, right? Because that's probably more manageable than a 50-story. And let's just look at the elevator, right? And then it's like, all right, once that gets a little more manageable, let's go and push the button for the elevator. Let's let the door open. We'll run on and run off without getting off. And then that becomes a little more manageable. Then we go up one floor, get off, down one floor, and then we can kind of just ascend from there. You see what I'm saying? So we're breaking it up into steps. Now, the whole idea of a hierarchy is to write this all on paper and to measure it with what they call SUDS, or subjective units of distress. So the person would actually write down and predict their SUDS. So they'd say, oh, well, if I have to get on an elevator, that's going to cause me, 80 out of 100 SUDS. And then we actually do that and we have them track their SUDS 80 and then watch them progressively go down. Now, it can be really useful, right? Especially if there's a fear that's really overwhelming, to break it up into steps like this. But what a lot of people do is they just really, really expand this process into something it doesn't need to be. So they have and then they often do exposures that they don't really need to do in very extreme ways. That I don't think, they'll write these catastrophic stories about getting stuck in an elevator and have them read these narratives repeatedly or all this other stuff. Again, if you're working with someone and they're advising you on something, I think it's just important that you have those conversations with them. In my experience, most of the extreme ideas that people bring into this aren't usually needed, and it's just from lived experience that I've drawn that. Now, so that's the idea of how to create it. So you take your fear, you break it up into steps, and you track your SUDS with it. Pretty standard. When we're talking about really creating what I believe to be the most effective ERP hierarchy, for me, it's always, okay, an exposure done once and not consistently is less effective than exposures that are done consistently with time, because again, you're constantly not feeding this energetic loop of fear. When it comes to ERP, the only value of ERP again is the ability to remove the responses or the compulsions. If you do an exposure and then engage in compulsion, you're not really doing ERP. And I think that needs to be stressed so heavily. This person goes on an elevator and just ruminates the entire time. they're not engaging in ERP. They're doing an exposure, and then they're just doing a bunch of compulsions, which is just making the loop worse. I mean, and this is why like the response prevention is the important part here, not the exposure part. So the exposure hierarchy, this illusion that if we create this hierarchy, we're all of a sudden going to get better, or we're all of a sudden going to just completely eradicate OCD, it's not true, because if you don't effectively remove all the compulsions, you're not really doing anything productive. You're just activating yourself and then engaging in compulsions that's suppressing the emotion. So my opinion is, first, you need to get really good at removing the mental compulsions, because for most people, that's about 80% of the compulsions. The reason I teach a solution focused approach like the AAA response is because that really is ERP right there. If we're removing all compulsions by engaging in a solution that's doing it indirectly, right? That's removing the compulsions indirectly. That is ERP, because exposures are happening all the time for people. Intrusive thoughts pop up all the time. They get, little triggers happen throughout the day automatically. And if you aren't engaging in any compulsions, you're always engaging in ERP. So I believe that the first thing you need to dial in is that before you ever talk about bringing in these exposures. And then more importantly, instead of seeing the exposure, so this is the second thing. So the first thing is we need to dial in removing all compulsions before we talk about purposely integrating exposure. Secondly, before we start to do these exposures, we want to make sure that we're doing it in the right context, meaning understanding that this doesn't actually cause fear. The fear is already within me, and I'm using this event to bring up emotion and release it. This is how I frame it. This is how I teach it. This is what I believe to the depth of my being is really going on, is that this emotion and it's coming up and it needs to be released, right? It's stored here. Fear is within. The only place fear exists is within me. And I'm using this process to activate, bring up, and release fear. If you don't share that belief, that's okay. You can still benefit from everything I'm saying below, but this belief brings a different value to the exercise. I think it's like a growth experience. It's not a, oogie boogie man outside of me experience that I'm trying to desensitize to. It's understanding like I can't live in fear anymore because it's hindering my evolution as a person on this earth. It's preventing me from living the life I really want to live, and I'm here to transcend it. So, and when you engage in exposures, it doesn't need to be long and drawn out. You can, this is where, when I talk about the third step of the AAA response and getting into the energy field of anger and attack and becoming aggressive, these hierarchies can be accomplished rather quickly with a certain stimulus that needs to be broken up into steps, but you only use it for things that need to be broken up into steps. You don't just create a hierarchy for the sake of creating it. It doesn't do anything. And people spend way more time tracking all the stuff on paper, which often distracts them from what's really going on in their body to begin with. So I think it's a good principle, right? And I earlier in my career, especially when I was learning this, I tried all this. This didn't really create the transformation though that I was really wanting. So all the stuff that I'm talking about here on top of it, and the context and the way of understanding it, I think really changed the way that you can integrate it into your life. And again, I'm going to stress this again. You don't do this on your own. One of the big things that keeps people stuck in fear is pride. First, it's the pride of, again, not wanting to admit that this is a big problem. And then it's the pride of just trying to do it all yourself. Pride cometh before the fall, as they always say. So if you're engaging in pride and you're saying, well, I'm just going to do this on my own, or I don't need help, or this really isn't that bad, or any of that stuff, that's to your own detriment, no one else's. And you really should be working with someone in this in some capacity to get the guidance, because most of the time people are engaging in compulsions and never know it. Oftentimes that's the biggest contribution that I can bring to someone's life, is helping them become aware of a compulsion that they had no idea was a compulsion. Because yes, while you can only do the work, you can also only see what you can see, and your beliefs and your viewpoints are very limited when you're in that state. So setting up a hierarchy, I think, can be a good thing in certain contexts, but I think oftentimes it's done in a way that is not really as useful as often is sold to the person. So hope this was helpful. If you want some more information and resources on this, you can check out the links down in the notes, or you can head over to restoredminds.com. With that, wishing you all a great day and a great week. Look forward to seeing you soon. Hey there, this is Matt Codde, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch that episode. And if you found it helpful, we have some other episodes available for you as well that we've linked here. And if you're looking for additional resources, I have links down in the notes, or you can head over to restoredminds.com/start to get started with some new free resources that we have available. Thanks so much, and look forward to seeing you soon.